Do you ever feel like you're stuck babysitting your sales team no matter who you hire? The real problem is not talent, it's that your sales reps do not know how to think the way that you think. I'm going to show you a simple mindset playbook that gets your entire team executing like elite A players so you can forget about the constant micromanaging. Here's the mistake that I see over and over. Founders over index on talent, right? We need a killer closer. If only we could find an experienced rep. And then they drop that person into a broken system with no shared rules, no shared values, and they act surprised when nothing changes. Performance is just beliefs and rules expressed as behavior. So if your reps do not have the right internal rules, you get weak follow up, you get discounting to save deals, you get desperate selling, hard closing, sloppy CRM hygiene, and a pipeline full of stagnant opportunities. And you, the founder, get dragged back into sales management, or even worse, you get dragged back onto the phones. What you actually need is a culture of execution, clear rules of what good looks like and what is unacceptable. Instead of writing a 40-page manual that nobody reads, after 15 years of sales management experience inside of 7, 8, and 9-figure sales teams, I've learned how to install these rules using short, repeatable phrases that I call isms. So you might be asking, what is an ism? An ism is a mental model, a short rule that tells your sales reps how to think and how to act during hard times. Think of it like this formula. When X happens, we believe Y, so we do Z. They're not motivational quotes, they are decision rules that kick in automatically under pressure, subconsciously. And they become your coaching language, your accountability standard, your hiring filter, and the code that runs your sales culture. In my world, I want a culture that accepts behaviors that focus on one thing: execution, fast, personal, persistent execution at all costs. And we want to reject behavior that kills deals, excuses, negative mindset or attitude, slow follow up, generic text, emails, weak standards. So these isms are how we encode elite behavior. Next, I'm going to give you a handful of isms that you can steal and directly start applying to your team to start seeing results. So here's the ism playbook. After helping my clients generate over $54 million in revenue, I've developed over 30 isms, but I'm going to give you the 6 or 7 that are going to cover 80% of all execution problems on a sales team. First up is volume negates luck. What this means is top reps don't get lucky. They create more at bats. They create more repetition. And what it sounds like is, I didn't get any sets today. Okay, cool. How many calls did you make? How many dials? How many outreaches? How many follow-ups did you do? And because volume is the whole entire game, we can clearly see when someone doesn't do the volume and they do the volume, that who gets the results. And we highlight that volume negates luck. Next is speed to lead is king, meaning the fastest team to respond usually wins. And what it sounds like inside of the sales team is, if we call within 5 minutes, we have 1,000% higher likelihood of getting this person on the phone, and thus a greater likelihood of getting them set onto a call. So we're always highlighting this. Next is buy or die. The meaning here is that we don't silently quit on qualified leads. They either buy or they clearly opt out, or we disqualify them. One of those 3 options. Those are the only options. And so what this sounds like in a sales team environment is, a rep will say something like, oh, they ghosted me, or that lead is dead. It's like, no, they didn't die. You stop following up, right? The idea here is that we are coaching them to continuously follow up until we get a response, or until they tell us no, or they move forward in the process. This is one of my favorites, and I stole this from Alex Hermosi. It's BAM FAM, book a meeting from a meeting, right? So no prospect leaves a call in no man's land. What this sounds like on a sales call is, I'll send you something and then reach back out next week. And anytime we hear that, we're like, no, we book the next steps while we have them on the call. Bam, bam, book a meeting from a meeting. ABC, always be closing. If you're not closing the deal, you're closing on a commitment, you're closing on the next appointment. You're always closing on something. So what this sounds like in practice is, okay, cool, you can't make a decision today. No worries. Here's what I think is best. Let's lock in a call for tomorrow so you can do X, Y, Z. We can chat about Y. And if it makes sense, We can help you move forward. If it doesn't make sense, I can help you map out a game plan for what you need in place to make this happen in the future. Cool? Okay, boom, get the meeting in. Next is always be pulling forward. What this means is that any no-shows, any cancels, any reschedules, any white space in my sales team's calendar, their immediate next thought is to pull the next meeting forward, to pull a future meeting forward and fill that white space. And so in practice, what this sounds like is you'll hear reps on my team say, hey, I had 3 cancellations today. I was able to pull 2 forward. So I filled that white space. One of them closed. The other one is going to be as a follow-up in our originally booked time. I think they're going to close. And so as a sales leader, I'm always highlighting that. Awesome. Let's go. Always be pulling forward. You see this, guys? This is why we're always filling white space. The next one is feedback is fuel. The meaning here is that ego is the enemy. Fastest implementers become the top earners. And so what this sounds like in practice is after a call that doesn't close, most reps will bury that call and they're not going to bring it up. Instead, we create a culture where we highlight those calls. We identify the objection. They'll say, hey, the objection was partner spouse. I've been getting that all week. Can we look at that? And of course, I'm like, yes, let's look at those 8 calls that you had a partner objection on and let's drill it so you can handle it better in the future. All right, cool. Feedback is fuel, guys. Let's do this. And then they apply it immediately on that next call because we've empowered them. We've trained them to positively reinforce these behaviors. And once they win, right, once they're able to overcome that objection, then we bring that call to the entire team as training. And then we highlight feedback is fuel for everybody to learn. These little sayings permeate the culture of the team, but they only work if they're installed and constantly repeated over and over. They can't just be said once during onboarding and then totally forgot. So now here's the actual playbook on how to make this real, how to install the ISM playbook. So I install this in 3 steps. I write it, train it, enforce it. So step 1, write it. So put 5 to 10 of your favorite isms down on paper. For each one, include what it means, what it looks like in behavior, and the metric, the sales metric that it actually moves. And if you want to do what I did and take it a step even further, you can develop a short slide deck with the ism, the meaning, and the imagery associated with it so that it lands. Step number 2, train it. So during onboarding, walk every single new rep through your isms on day 1. I designed a specific training just for this that I call Sales 101, Welcome to the Jungle. And here's where I break down every ism that I want etched into my sales reps' brains from the very, very first training that they get on day 1. Sales reps don't learn the ism when they hear it. They learn it when they start to associate the mental model with the stories, the imagery, and ultimately when they start to execute it under pressure, and that is positively reinforced. That's when they learn it. Step number 3, enforce it. So in meetings, in coaching, during huddles, on calls, in conversations, this is where founders and managers will start to win back their time. So in meetings, I will deliberately pause at any opportunity where I hear or see an ism, and I will positively reinforce the good use, or I'll point out an opportunity where it was missed. So in call reviews, the feedback is always anchored to the code, to the isms, right? And so an example of this would be, okay, you didn't get the close, but you got the follow blocked. Boom, bam, bam, nice work. Speed to lead, right? Okay, 204 opt-in, outbound dial 206, appointment set 215. Let's go. Speed to lead right there, guys. You see speed to lead in play. It works. And I'm always highlighting it, right? With my setting team, 102 dials, 3 appointments booked. 275 dials, 11 appointments booked. Interesting. Does volume always negate luck, guys? Yeah? Yeah. So on the scoreboard, I'm tracking metrics that each ISM controls. So speed to lead, follow-up attempts, show rate, close rate, pipeline. And as you're reviewing the data with your teams or with your reps, you're always calling it out. You're always highlighting. You're always pointing back to it. So now we're not managing personalities, right? We're starting to manage standards. Here's the standard. Here's the culture. And if somebody repeatedly violates the ism, the culture, the code, the conversation is simple. These are the rules of the game here. Either we play by the rules or maybe this isn't the right team. The big takeaway here, guys, is an ism isn't real until you've drilled it so hard that you start to hear your team using it in huddles, in their end of day reports, their day-to-day communication with each other. That's how you know you've shifted identities. That's how you know you've installed a mental model. If you're tired of being the sales babysitter, stop hunting for unicorn closers. Build the sales team operating system that makes ordinary people perform above average. Use this system, and in a month, your reps will talk differently. They'll think differently. And more importantly, they'll start to sell differently. If you want my exact ISM playbook that I recently ran with an 8-figure sales team, so you can see exactly how I install this mindset reframe, this mental model into my teams, watch this next video right here. Cheers.